guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. We've got a Sarah Boone update. It looks like her new attorney has filed a new motion in the case. It was actually filed on the 2nd. I got it off of the Orange County records. Public documents, and I'm going to go through that. And it looks like we may be seeing where the new attorney might be going with her potential defense. And it's not exactly the defense that we had with the other attorney that she obviously very, very much disliked. And also of note, she has not only a new attorney, but she also has a new judge in the case. Presently, the judge is now listed on the Orange County records as Judge Michael Kradnick. I'm not familiar with him. He looks like he's going to be the one that's going to be overseeing the hearing, the pretrial hearing that's scheduled for January 16th. And there is a tentative date for the trial to be the 29th of January, but after seeing this motion, I don't think that the trial is going to happen in January. And once you see the motion as well, you're going to see that we're going to have to get an expert involved, so maybe March, April, maybe. So let's check out the new motion that has been filed. Alright, so this is the new motion. Again, it was filed on January 2nd. In the Circuit Court of the 9th Judicial Circuit in Orange County, Florida. It does still list Judge Wayne Wooten, but if you look at the actual filings here, we have another judge listed. I don't think that Judge Wayne Wooten is going to be overseeing her trial anymore, although I could be wrong. We'll find out more, I assume, on the 16th when we get the pretrial. So this one here is the defendant's ex parte motion for the appointment of a forensic mental health defense expert or similar expert, fact investigator, and for approval of other necessary due process costs. So remember, like the other previous attorney, he was trying to get the expert for the battered spouse defense. This is another expert for this new defense, which when you go into the motion, it becomes pretty clear where they are trying to go. Comes now the defendant, Sarah Boone, by and through undersigned counsel, and respectfully moves this honorable court ex parte to enter an order appointing the following individual: mental health, psychologist or psychiatrist, expert or other similar expert at an hourly rate, and number of hours to be determined by this court, or for a flat fee and number of hours to be determined by this court plus costs. This motion has been filed and submitted to the JAC. In support of this motion, the undersigned states, Ms. Boone is before this court and charged with second-degree murder in violation of Florida statutes 782.042, 775.0871, and 775.872. The appointment of an expert is absolutely necessary to protect Mr. Sarah Boone's constitutional rights. I assume that should have been Mrs. Sarah Boone, to a fair trial on the defining issue in this case: her right to mount a complete defense. To properly present testimony and evidence relating to the factors set forth by the state, undersigned counsel requires the services of a forensic mental health evaluator or similar expert to review certain evidence and to make a detailed and scientific examination of certain evidence, recommend, meet with other experts, and testify at hearings and trial of this matter. A duly qualified forensic mental health expert or similar expert possesses the needed skills and expertise that most lawyers simply do not have. The expert has the training and ability to collect, understand, and evaluate documentary evidence related to the crime charged and the death investigation, and potentially perform crime scene reconstruction in this case. Linda Durr, PhD, LMHC, NBFE, CFMHE is qualified to serve as a certified expert in this case in ongoing investigations and to provide testimony at hearings and assist in jury selection at trial. So she's quite versed, and they also want her to be there apparently for jury selection. Dr. Durr has been qualified as an expert in her areas of expertise on numerous occasions and in diverse circumstances, including in and out of the courtroom. She has testified as a certified expert in crime scene reconstruction, jury selection, and in other situations that have required her expert qualifications. She is a practicing psychotherapist in Florida and in a total of 11 states across the country. Her expertise is allowed in numerous jurisdictions. So again, they're just saying she's very, very, very qualified. Dr. Durr is a certified forensic mental health evaluator, CFMHE, and has expertise in the areas of potential defenses in this case, to wit, battered women syndrome, domestic violence, personality disorders, battering husbands, infidelity, and alcoholic blackouts, inter alia. These are defenses that are necessary in the defense of this case. That particular right here, the alcoholic blackouts, I'm going to discuss a bit of that. I did do some research on that. So it looks like that may be a major defense as well as the battered women syndrome. So I guess they might keep that in there as well. Ms. Boone seeks the appointment of Dr. Linda Durr as a forensic mental health expert in this case for the reasons cited above at an hourly rate and number of hours or a flat rate, all based on hours of work and related expenses and costs to be determined at a hearing in this court. As an initial matter, Dr. Durr requires a reasonable upfront retainer in the matter. This retainer may be prorated as the court deems appropriate, based on hours to be worked and expenses and costs. Without the expert and expertise described herein, Ms. Boone would be denied a complete defense in her case. The curriculum vitae of the proposed desired expert is attached hereto as Exhibit A. So they're saying that if they can't get this expert, that Sarah Boone does not have a adequate defense. So she needs this expert in order to defend herself in court and get a fair trial. Miscellaneous costs. Counsel will seek approval for certain costs, such as transcripts, before ordering them, as required by JAC policy. Counsel will seek specific approval regarding cost expenses from the court before conducting any out-of-state travel of the expert, which is not anticipated. As always, this court retains its power to approve or deny on an interim basis and or at the end of the case or prior to the conclusion of the case, all specific fees and costs ultimately invoiced that are not covered by this motion. Wherefore, the defendant requests that this motion be granted and the court order the following. 1. Appointment of mental health forensic expert Linda Durr, PhD, at a rate to be determined by this court, to include costs and various expense at a hearing on the matter, and at such time to determine a cap on expert fees and costs in defense of the case. Counsel also moves this court to order an initial fee to be determined at the hearing and to be paid once the expert is retained, exclusive of costs. This is respectfully submitted by her new attorney, Winston Hobson. So, and of course it's also signed here that he hereby certifies its true and correct copy of the foregoing has been furnished the 2nd day of January 2024 by email to the Justice Administration Commission. So that's the JAC, which we know has to approve the expert fees. So it does look like they're trying to keep, again, the battered spouse defense, but they're adding in this new element, which again I looked up, about the alcohol-induced blackouts. Now, there is some research that had been done on it, and I looked it up on the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. I'll include the link. Just going to kind of sift through the article here. And there are many other resources if you do a quick search online. So it goes through about interrupted memories with the alcohol-induced blackouts. It's stating that drinking to the point of a blackout has gained pop culture notoriety in recent years. Alcohol-induced blackouts can lead to impaired memory of events that transpire while intoxicated and a drastically increased risk of injuries and other harms. They can occur in anyone who drinks alcohol, no matter their age or level of experience with drinking. In this fact sheet, they take a look at the sober, look at the common but deeply concerning consequence. So, this may be their biggest defense, but I'm also going to go over a bit of her interrogation, which, as we know, Sarah did a lot more talking than she should have. So, there may be some issues with this defense as well. They explain the blackouts. What are blackouts? Alcohol-related blackouts are gaps in a person's memory for events that occur while they were intoxicated. These gaps happen when a person drinks enough alcohol to temporarily block the transfer of memories from short-term to long-term storage, known as memory, consolation, and a brain area called the hippocampus. So that makes me think about, remember how the whole part when he's in the suitcase, she sort of remembers they went in the suitcase, but are they trying to use this defense as stating that they are gaps in Sarah's memory due to an alcohol-induced blackout? Seems to me that this may be what they're onto with this new forensic expert. Now, they go on to talk about the types of blackouts. There are two types of blackouts. They are defined by the severity of memory impairment. The most common type is called a fragmentary blackout and is characterized by spotty memories for events with islands of memories separated by missing periods of time in between. This type is sometimes referred to as a grayout or brownout. See, that right there made me think of Sarah, at least in the way the defense is going to possibly go for. Because she sort of remembers, but it's spotty. She did not remember taking those incriminating videos. She remembers them playing hide and go seek and George in the suitcase, but it seems like the rest of it she does not remember. So are they using this alcohol-induced blackouts as the reasoning behind that she doesn't remember? It goes on to say that complete amnesia, often spanning hours, is known as in-block blackout. With this severe form of blackout, memories of events do not form and typically cannot be recovered. It is as if events simply never occurred. Yeah, I don't think she's got amnesia, complete amnesia. I think it's more the spotty one, the fragmentary blackout. That would be, to me, potentially a decent defense. Doesn't excuse murder at all or leaving him in there, but I can foresee this one being their main line of defense. When do blackouts occur? It states blackouts tend to begin at blood alcohol concentrations of about 0.16%, which is nearly twice the legal driving limit and higher. At these BACs, most cognitive abilities, impulse control, attention, judgment, and decision making are significantly impaired. Does that sound like Sarah? Absolutely. Her judgment and decision making are totally impaired as far as I'm concerned. So this, again, I think this defense may be beyond to something. This new attorney may have something going here. It says a level of impairment occurs at such high BACs and makes the intoxication level associated with blackouts especially dangerous. And blackouts can occur at much lower BACs in people who drink and take sleep and anti-anxiety medications. I have no idea if Sarah takes any of these medications, but I'm sure we'll hear if she does or doesn't. Research indicates that blackouts are more likely to occur when alcohol enters the bloodstream quickly, causing the BAC to rise rapidly. This could happen if someone drinks on an empty stomach or consumes large amounts of alcohol in a short amount of time. Because females, on average, weigh less than males and pound for pound have less water in their bodies, they tend to reach peak BAC levels faster than males with each drink and do so more quickly. This helps explain why the female appears to be a risk factor for having blackouts. What do you guys think? Doesn't excuse murder, but this to me seems to be the best defense I've heard so far for Sarah. And again, I'll go over more of this after we see what they're doing with this expert, but I'm going to put the link in the information of the video. So do check it out and let me know your thoughts on this whole alcohol-induced blackout situation. That said, there still may be some problems with this defense because of her interrogation. Alright, I've gone over the interrogation in previous videos, so check out my playlist on that if you want to watch them in their entirety. And I will include a link again to this Law and Crime, the full interrogation, if you don't want my commentary. That said, here's a bit of the interrogation that I think is going to cause the prosecution to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. This whole, I don't drink a lot, and she repeats this on and on, with this blackout situation and this potentially new defense, might be a bit of headbutting, on that one.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
no.
It got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine, and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left over.
Yeah, about this much.
Mm-hmm. And then that you had well, I don't even know how the wine, how'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So
where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. But
you said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship. You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting...
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because...
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
daughters. Yes.
Nothing relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about like
what's going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right. I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and...
I never stopped.
Trying to...
I never stopped.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah. We just don't... I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and...
I have no idea.
You were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay.
So Sarah goes on to say she wasn't drunk, and she repeats it numerous times during the interrogation. And then, of course, she also says when the detectives approach her about his injuries, she doesn't remember all that. So I see where the blackout defense could be good for her and also be problematic for her. I kind of see both sides of it. Her biggest issue is, and I'm sure her attorney is very much aware of it, and this forensic expert's going to really be aware of it when they watch the entire interrogation. She just talked too much. She just let it all out. It's the last thing you want to do in this sort of case. You don't want to, let your heart bleeding out and talk to these detectives, and she just kept digging her hole and digging it deeper. So, but we shall see what happens on the 16th. I'm definitely curious if they get this forensic expert. Looks like they're probably going to get him. I don't know how JAC is going to react. We all know they had a lot of issues with the previous battered spouse expert with the payment. But we should know more in the next, couple weeks here. So I will keep you guys updated. And again, let me know in the comments what you think of this potential alcoholic-induced blackouts defense, which looks like that's going to be the defense on the table. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.